Greetings, Schism 206 viewers and subscribers. It has been a while since I've done anything new with this channel, and I hadn't planned on doing anything new with it back when I basically retired it sometime around 2020-ish. However, that's all about to change, and in no small way. I have a major announcement to make, and it seems fitting to do it here on New Year's with new beginnings and all. So I'll get right to the point. The channel will be undergoing a full-blown transformation sometime in the latter half of 2026. This will include a brand new channel name and a complete detachment from the Schism 206 namesake, as well as my Rockstar Esoterica members website. In other words, it's completely new wineskins, to use a New Testament term. And the new channel will basically center around a book series that I've been working on for several years now. So a quick recap. Originally, I had planned, as I mentioned, of letting the channel fade into oblivion. In fact, I was going to abandon the research altogether and try my hand at creating audiobooks, mostly for Catholic authors, and basically just letting people who I think are much more important than myself and much more effective to expand their reach, and I could basically just be behind the scenes. However, some providential things happened that led me to decide to write a book or give it a shot. And at first it was just going to be one book. But as with many of the old series, when I started doing the outline, I realized there was a lot more there. And I decided it would be best as a series of books, basically, with an overarching theme. And so basically I had an audiobook channel, a YouTube channel that I made to promote the audiobooks, but when that didn't work out, I figured, well, I'll just switch that over for the book and just start fresh and keep Schism 206 channel retired. But then I realized you can actually just change your channel name. Who knew? And so I decided that since I got 10,000 subs, and it took me quite a while to get that amount of people, I'd just do a complete overhaul of this channel and rebrand it for the book series. I don't know how many people still remember who I am or why they subscribe, but hopefully a number of you still do, and you'll find this new endeavor interesting. So suffice it to say, there will be a brand new channel name in the relatively near future. I'm hoping to release the first volume of the book series around fall 2026, definitely no later than December. It's happening this year, even if it's super late in the year. So the channel will probably change over a few months before the book is launched. But before that happens, I'll be releasing a number of videos to preview what's to come with the book and go into some other topics. And I'll also be discussing my personal journey over the last 5 years or so, because a lot has changed. To give a quick little short version of it, I got married in 2021. We had our first child in 2022, our second child in 2024, and my wife is currently pregnant with our third child. So because of this, I've taken multiple jobs, and there's definitely a lot less free time these days than back when I was first doing all this stuff in 2017, 18, 19. But oddly enough, my productivity is still pretty decent because you really learn how to just pick things and focus on a couple small things and let other things go, or ideas that are, nice ideas, but it's just not going to happen because you don't have enough time. So it forces you to be more selective. And like I said, I think that has made me more efficient with things. But I had actually planned on releasing the book a couple years back, but I ran into some pretty gnarly health problems in 2024, and they lingered for a while. I feel like I've got a handle on them now, and I'm feeling much better. And all of that was more or less a result of trial and error with my diet. So hopefully that stays the same. The status quo of just kind of feeling decent, and I hope that it stays that way. So yeah. Once the channel is switched over, I won't be referencing any more old content. So this is really a brand new start in many ways. My author name will also be a little bit different. I'll touch upon the reasons why in a future video. But regardless, of these major changes, the book will still have a lot of overlap with much of the research that you've all grown accustomed to absorbing over the years. And I'd say it's mostly a mix of like the occult science series and occult Catholicism, like kind of like the two pillars blended into one, with some content that I produced on my members website, and then maybe some of the lesser known series that I did in the Schism 206 channel. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all that. But there is definitely a substantial amount of new material, and more importantly, a much fresher perspective on all the older stuff. And there are some things that I, used to get into in the old channel or even my member section of the website that I'm just not going to touch upon anymore. Or it might be in a much more peripheral way. Again, I'll make some videos to describe some of these transitions and how it all interconnects in the near future. So for now, all the old Schism 206 content, as well as my members content for Rockstar Esoterica, is still available at my website, but it's under a paywall. There's a number of reasons for the paywall that I won't get into. It's not because I'm some greedy bastard. Some of you probably know all about it. And, again, I can get into it at some point in the future. But probably most of you are aware that all that stuff is on the website. But for those that don't know, all the Schism 206 material is in one super cheap plan at $1 a month, which you pay for up front, so $12 for the year. And there's also a few additional things that are kind of thrown into that weren't on the Schism 206 channel. And then for the members content, that's everything in the Schism 206 channel plus the new stuff. And so that's $6 a month, which you can pay for monthly or annually. And I think that there's even a 3-month plan or one-time payment. So as usual, the links to the payment plans and everything for the website will be in the description below. Now, similar to the channel's overhaul, I'm actually planning on switching the website over to center on the book series. I'm not exactly sure when that will be, but I think I can still hide the Rockstar Esoterica members content within the site, so people want to continue to sign up for that, or they want to continue being signed up for that. I'll just keep it with the same pricing or whatever. And I do plan on making audiobooks for every single book in the series, and I'll make them available for those members. I'm still trying to figure out how this will all work, and how to deal with fusing the sites and having the main site be about the book, but having the old content kind of be hidden somewhere for people in the know who know how to find it. I may even transform my Podbean channel for the book series, but that would only be if the book did relatively well, because doing podcasts is just a lot of time that I don't have right now. So we'll see. There's things that I could do, but for now, like I said, you got to focus on the main things that you can be effective with. So that's the announcement. Everyone can look forward to new videos previewing the book series, which will be cropping up again over the next few months. I think that I have at least 10 planned. One will discuss the basic concept of the series. Others will touch upon what to expect in Volume 1 specifically. I'll also discuss the target audience of the book. Obviously, people enjoy what the Schism 206 channel provided. You'll probably be interested in it on some level. Also, make a video like what the benefits of reading it will be, basically why you're buying it, and what it will do for you. And also maybe a video of how it compares and contrasts with some of the older material and stuff like that. So, like I said, I'll be touching upon all these things and some odds and ends as well over the course of the next few months. Last but not least, there's a few artistic endeavors I wanted to mention. Some of you may know I've been part of an ongoing voice animation project over the last several years, where I do a few character voices, and I even sing on a few of the tracks as one of the characters. You can listen, actually, to the tracks on Spotify. One of them is called Plastic People. which has some kind of anti-New World Order themes to it. It's encroaching upon about 70,000 plays. It's going to be getting there soon, hopefully. And it's currently on the Animation Project's top 10 most downloaded songs, and it might even take the number 4 spot somewhat soon. I don't think it will surpass any of the top tracks, though, as they're like on their way to 1 million views or a million plays. So I don't think it's quite getting there. But either way, it's pretty cool to say that, you know, you get a song you're part of that has 70,000 or is almost has 70,000 plays. So anyways, you can watch the entire animation series. It's called XRL7 on YouTube. And I also have a playlist for every episode and every song that I participated in. And I'll put links to that below as well. Basically, the show is like a futuristic semi-dystopia setting. And it's got more of a comedic bent to it. And it has like a focus on rock music. So music theme and comedy. And there's some conspiracy elements too. It's like dark occultists controlling the music industry, social engineering, like media brainwashing, transhumanism even, stuff like that. And in all honesty, I think it's exceptionally well made. I would not say that if I didn't believe it. And it has a great overall aesthetic. Visually, it's, I think, great. I mean, it's pixel art, so it's like crude in that sense, but you just check it out and you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it's pretty cool. And there's even a few semi-famous musicians that voice characters and even sing on the songs. I'm not one of them, but I'm among them. And I'm pretty good friends with the creator of the show, albeit we're internet friends. Never met in real life, but we chat fairly regularly. And he's a super cool guy, lives in Britain, very creative. We like a lot of the same music. So I highly recommend you check out the series if that sounds interesting to you. And in addition to that, I recently uploaded some of my old band's live performances with a few studio cuts to a YouTube channel that I created like 12 years ago for the band. But since the band dissolved not long after that, I never really uploaded anything. And I was kind of like, I don't want to say bitter, but, you know, I had a existential crisis because I had planned my whole life about pursuing music, and that all fell apart. And then I get into all the research, and a lot of things happened in my life spiritually. So that was a big transformation, if any of you didn't know. Now, I wasn't the singer of the band in those days, but there is a full studio album that we made and I mixed and I have sitting on my old computer that I hope doesn't die because it's got Pro Tools on it, and I don't want to, go out and buy a subscription and a new computer and all that stuff. And plus it's, I'd have to like redo all the plugins. So I'm just praying that this thing lasts. But anyways, the only thing is we never got proper vocals on them. So I decided a while back that I was going to give it a go and just work on vocals over time. And whenever I felt ready, I'd try to record it. And I did get one of the tracks that I feel good about. The rest I'm still working on, but I'm much closer than I ever was. And right now, mostly it's just time preventing me from getting it done. So yeah, if you like, alternative rock, grunge, hard rock, metal, progressive metal, stuff like that, thinking of bands like Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Tool, Deftones, A Perfect Circle, Rage Against the Machine, 90s grunge and rock and stuff like that. Well, you might enjoy it if you like those bands. You might also recognize the intro of the Proud to Be Profane podcast if you browse through enough videos. One of the studio tracks, or one of the 2 studio tracks, is that song, which we did back in 2012. But we kind of did an overhaul of our sound, so the version you hear on the podcast is actually different and reflects what will sound like on the album if I ever get it done. So if you enjoy any of the tunes, be sure to subscribe to that channel, and maybe one day the album will be complete. Again, these are all things that will be linked in the description, and I plan on elaborating a little bit on the animation series and even some of the band stuff as well in a future video, just for fun. So I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you, everyone, for your support over the years. Much appreciated. And I'll try to make an effort to check and respond to comments in the future as we go forward. In the past, comments just got way too overwhelming, and sometimes, drama ensues. So I had to stop responding, but like I said, I'll try to make an effort to respond to them at least until they become overwhelming again. So as always, people can email me or contact me through the website, and those links will all be below. So stay tuned, and there's much more to come. And until next time, have a very blessed 2026. Peace.